Hey guys, thought I would jump on and do an update, a 6 month update on shaving my head. And to be honest with you, I was actually a little bit anxious jumping onto this live. Like I had to do some breath work to calm my heartbeat down. I was getting quite anxious because, truth be told, doing Facebook Lives actually makes me quite nervous. Um, and I think a big part of that is I never know what's going to come out. Like when you're doing a Facebook Live, there's nowhere to hide. Like whatever just comes out is what comes out. And I guess there's like that fear of, I don't know, judgment or being seen or in your truth or whatever it is. But I decided, like, screw it. I am going to just do a Facebook Live, and whatever comes out is what's meant to come out. And I feel like in life, um, I feel like we should all thrive to just be our truest, authentic expression. I mean, that's the whole reason why I shaved my head, right? So I didn't have my hair to hide behind. And this is just another level of me stepping into that. And I feel like the more that we can, have the courage to just show up in our true, authentic expression without all the filters that we tried to hide behind, to put on this facade to just appear, a certain way so we can be liked by people. The more we can show up in that realness, the more we can, give others the courage to do the same. And how much better would life be if everyone was just showing up in their real, authentic expression? Because really, I feel like that's the part of ourselves that we connect most deeply with. It's not the facade that we put on. Like that's not the stuff that really connects. So, yeah, I'm just right now in this moment, just putting my shit aside, and despite the anxiety and the nervousness that really came right now when I thought of doing this Facebook Live, I'm just going to show up anyway. And I'm going to share with you, I'm going to close this window in case it's getting a little bit loud. I'm going to share with you a 6 month update from shaving my head. And honestly, it has been such a journey. A journey that I half expected, half wasn't totally expecting. As a lot of you might know, if you've seen my head shaving video, the whole intention of me shaving my head was because, I kind of got to a point in my life when I was placing so much of my self-worth on my hair. Like I really did believe, like if I was truly honest with myself, which I wasn't truly honest, but if I was to be truly honest with myself, I did value, I thought I wasn't worthy of love unless I looked good. And so in relationships, I always put so much time and effort and money into always trying to look good so that I could feel worthy of love from partners, from society, from work colleagues, from friends, from bosses, and all of that shit, which is not uncommon. Like this is a very common thing. I'm just speaking to something that's very real in society. So when I realized how much that dependency on my hair, on the physicality was determining my self-worth, I just came to that realization that if I really wanted to step into the person that I truly know that I am deep down, that all of us are deep down, because we all have so much infinite potential within us that we are suppressing with all of these layers of just societal conditioning and just bullshit, really. So when I really accepted that this is not who I am, this is not who I want to be, this is not how I want to show up in the world, this is not the reflection that I want to put out, I made that really tough decision to shave off what I believed was my worthiness, my hair. And so I shaved my head, and, it wasn't like I shaved my hair and then suddenly I'm like this fully embodied, confident goddess that, just walks through life with this air of like I am worthy, because that's definitely not what happened. It was like such a journey that I am still on today, and I'm actually surprised at how deep this journey goes. And like it kind of started off with like realizing, when I first shaved my head, I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't see, like, other people, when they saw that I shaved my head, they just saw this really courageous, brave woman who, has the courage to do this crazy thing. And she's so awesome. And all that was the kind of the reflections that I was getting from people. But that wasn't how I truly felt within. When I when I looked at myself in the mirror, I felt ugly. Like all of that conditioning that I've been carrying my entire life where, you have to look good to feel worthy. Like all of that came to the surface and there was nowhere to hide because I didn't have my hair to hide behind anymore. So I looked at myself in the mirror and I would often think to myself that I'm ugly, I'm not attractive, I'm not worthy. But I was catching myself in those thoughts because I knew that was the whole point of the journey. The whole point of the journey is to just be, face up to these beliefs that were running in my life in the background that I wasn't fully acknowledging. And this was really, forcing me to acknowledge it and, grow beyond it and work through it. So it kind of started off with me having that quite negative self-talk, looking at myself in the mirror, just telling myself that I didn't look good. I never felt feminine. I felt quite masculine. It basically brought up a lot of, I guess, old unresolved trauma when I was 15, when I used to have an afro. Like I was a full tomboy. People would often mistaken me for a boy. They would ask me, are you a boy or a girl? Which I was okay with at the time because, I owned the fact that I was a tomboy. I was cool with that. I loved it. But, now being a woman and, really wanting to step into my femininity, having those old thoughts when I was 15, feeling like I'm not feminine, that really came to the surface, and that was something that I had to move through. And, when I started, so it kind of started off me feeling like I'm not attractive. I feel really masculine, whatever. And then I became more aware of those thought patterns. And then I started to notice that, before when I had long hair, I was getting a lot of attention on the street. Wherever I would go, people would approach me, they would open doors, people would, do all sorts of stuff that society can be quite superficial, and they can sometimes treat people in different ways based on how they look. So the ways that I used to get treated in public, that wasn't happening anymore. And so I started to feel like, okay, I don't feel attractive, and I don't feel like people are attracted to me. And so that then transitioned to a level of acceptance. It was kind of like, okay, I accept the fact that I don't find myself attractive, and I accept that others don't either. And I don't care because I'm more than just my physical appearance. So that was kind of the next level of my evolution that I've kind of moved through during this journey. And, feeling that level of acceptance, like the acceptance that I don't feel attractive and the acceptance that people don't find me attractive, like that felt empowering for me for like a period of time. Like I thought that was empowering. But that then shifted into realizing that, constantly telling myself that I'm not attractive, like that was actually affecting my emotional state, my mental state, my self-confidence. So I made the commitment to myself to change that self-talk, so that when I would, for example, look at myself in the mirror, instead of saying to myself, oh my God, I'm so not feminine. Oh my God, I looked so much better with long hair, and everyone else is probably thinking the same thing. Instead, I started to notice the things that I did like about myself. Like right now, my little curls are coming out. And so just coming to a place of like actually loving my curls, like thinking they're like super cute. It's kind of like, I think it's Goldilocks, or I forget the name of the one that I'm thinking of, but just like a really cute cartoon character. So just like loving those parts of myself that for so long after shaving my head, I was kind of, putting my old, perceptions of thinking short hair on women is like not good on me or whatever. So yeah, started to feed myself with more of those positive, affirmations when I looked at myself in the mirror. And I noticed that actually did start to change my mindset. And that's applicable to everything in life, right? When we do feed ourselves with that, it all counts. Like if we're constantly telling ourselves that we're ugly, we're masculine, we're this, we're that, then yes, you're going to start believing it, and you're going to start like reliving those thought patterns. But when you change it, which is what I made the conscious decision to do, because I noticed the shift it was having on my mental state, which is the mental state that I, don't want to live in, because that's not me operating at my highest. I then started to change it to, you know what? I am beautiful. Like I love my little curls. My little curls are so cute. Like I can't wait to see, as they continue to develop. And I kind of went down that kind of path, and I noticed that started to change my level of self-confidence and the love of how I, would perceive myself. Now, the next really interesting thing that's happened on my head shaving journey is, back when I had long hair, I would walk down places like St Kilda Beach. If you're in Melbourne, it's a very popular, if you're not in Melbourne, sorry, if it's a very popular beach in Melbourne, in the summertime. There's like people having picnics, kicking balls, volleyball, playing music, all sorts of people all around, right? When I would walk there alone at night, when I had long hair, I would often not feel safe because I would very often have men catcalling. I'd have men approaching me. I'd have, people saying really, like men often, saying really inappropriate things. Like I felt like I couldn't, at nighttime, I felt like I couldn't walk there alone and get anywhere without having somebody approach me. Now, I went there again recently with my new do, and, same place, walking down, St Kilda Beach, along the pier, totally alone at night, men everywhere, in groups, packs, whatever. And I actually felt totally invisible. Like literally, I'm walking past groups of men and, they would kind of look, as you do as you're, looking, but, it didn't trigger a single thought in their head. They just kind of look and they just keep on walking. And I noticed that whilst I felt invisible, in a way it kind of felt like empowering because, I noticed for the first time in my life, I actually felt safe. I felt safe walking alone at night in St Kilda Beach because I didn't have people catcalling me or saying really inappropriate things or approaching me. Like I felt like I could just go on my walk, be in my own zone. I didn't have to be on edge. I didn't have to have my guard up. I didn't have to be super, aware of what's going on because so I felt invisible, but it felt like in an empowering way. And it kind of got me thinking like, I can really understand why, some of the clients that I work with, they get into these eating habits where, they actively, consciously, unconsciously, try to put on a lot of weight, or they try to do these things so they can be invisible to men because in the past they have learnt that it's unsafe to be seen. So I really kind of felt that in that moment, like the safety that you can sometimes feel as a woman or man or, any human when you are invisible. Now, the next really interesting thing that I've noticed on my journey of since shaving my head is, like I said, it's kind of gone through this journey of initially, just outright not thinking I'm attractive, and I'm telling myself that I'm not attractive and that people don't find me attractive. That then transitioned to me accepting that I don't feel attractive and accepting that others don't find me attractive. And for a period of there, that felt empowering. But that then transitioned to me being like, no, you know what? I am attractive and I can see the things that are attractive about myself, and then really focusing on those parts. And also coming to the realization that, back when I had longer hair, right, on an unconscious level, I was placing so much of my worthiness on my physical appearance. I am not worthy of love unless I look good. And as a result, I was attracting people into my life that was a match to that. So people who would reflect that at me, people who also believe that you and them are not worthy of love unless you are physically attractive. So that was, of course, when I had longer hair, I was attracting people on the street that were catcalling me, saying inappropriate stuff, because I feel that on some level, they don't believe that they're worthy of love unless, they physically look good. And as a result, they don't believe women are worthy or men, whatever, unless they physically look good, right? But since coming on this journey of shaving my head, shedding away that belief that, my physical appearance is my worthiness, and coming to a place of really loving and honoring me at such a deep level, like getting to know myself, beyond the physicality, and just, because there's so much more to me. There's so much more to all of us than just how we physically look, right? But sometimes we don't even realize it because we're so focused on how we look, and we spend all that time doing our hair and doing our makeup and whatever, that we lose that time, that presence that we get to spend with our truth, with the truth that's within us, underneath all those layers. So since spending this time, and it's been a journey of, diving deeper within myself, really tapping into my own inner beauty and the depth within me, and all of the amazing qualities that, is definitely not, anything to do with the physical. I'm noticing that I am attracting people into my life that are a reflection of this. And this is the incredible thing. I went to a music event the other night. Normally when I would go to these type of music events, similar situation where I'd have men, you know, drunken men, you know, bumping and grinding against me, invading my personal space, you know, saying inappropriate stuff to me, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? And I didn't like it back then, but really they were just a reflection of what I had within me. This time around, I went to this event and it was totally different. I didn't have any drunken dudes bumping and grinding against me, saying inappropriate stuff, like none of that shit. I had the most amazing, respectful, beautiful humans come to me and just say the most amazing stuff. Like I had one guy, he came to me and he just said, like I saw him, he was like staring at me from across the crowd. And he was slowly making his way through the crowd just so he could, you know, get to right next to me. And I could see he was like kind of building up the courage to talk to me. And then when he eventually did have the courage to speak to me, he said to me, look, I've just really got to tell you that there's just something about your energy. It's like you're someone who you really know yourself. Like you feel like you're really strong within yourself. I don't know what it is, but man, like he said, what do you say? Like, you're better than everybody else, like you're better than any man in this room, or something along those lines, like saying that I was like really empowered within myself. That was one guy. And then I had another guy saying to me that like he absolutely loved my energy, like he loved the energy that I was putting out. And for me, I didn't feel like I was putting out any energy, like I was just doing my thing, you know. And then what was the other thing? The other one was, then I had this other guy. He said to me, he's like, oh my God, I always see you at these gigs. The last gig I saw you was March 2020. And I was surprised when he said that because I had longer hair back then. And because on still some level, I think people only know me from my hair and from that physical whatever. I said to him, that's weird that you remember me because I had long hair then. I've shaved my head since then. And he's like, he said to me, I don't even remember your hair. Like, I just remember, like, I'll never forget your eyes and your smile and your energy. So these are the type of people that I'm attracting into my life now. Like, what a transition. Like, you know, from people, and the thing is, the people that we attract in our life, they're always a reflection of what we have within us. So, you know, if you're attracting people in your life who, you know, valuing you based on your physical appearance, they're valuing you based on what you can give, they're valuing you based on, you know, all sorts of things, really, you just got to look within, because all that means is that's what you're valuing yourself on. But the moment you make the transition, like the true commitment, and I'm telling you now, when I shaved my head, that was a commitment. That was like, I have no choice but to discover my inner beauty. Because I knew it was going to be a journey, and it was a journey that there's no escaping from, because you're not just going to grow long hair overnight. Like, it's going to be a journey, and that's exactly what it's been. And that journey of really coming to an acceptance and a love within myself, in all of me, that's been attracting people into my life. That's just a reflection of that. So that's been really powerful. And, you know, full transparency, I am still on that journey. Like, I'm not still 100% embodied, loving all bits of me, you know, walking through life with this like air of like, you know, like a little bit, definitely more than I was, for sure. Like, it's more real now than just, I guess, whatever it was before. But I'm still on that journey. And, you know, another big edge that I have is like, I never leave the house without makeup. Because obviously that's still another thing that I'm attached to, in terms of like, I've still got to maintain this level of physical appearance, so people can like respect me or something. Like, I've still got something there that I'm still working through. I'm still working through peeling the layers of all these little things that I place so much of my self-worth on. So what I'm doing currently to work through that, and maybe, you know, anyone listening to this video, you might get value from this. I've been starting this mirror love practice, which is basically, you know, before I barely even looked at myself in the mirror without makeup on. Like, I put makeup on first thing in the morning without even giving myself a chance to even acknowledge what I'm, you know, might look like without makeup. So first thing in the morning, before I put any makeup on, I do the mirror love practice. I'm in front of a mirror. I actually look at myself without makeup, and I really love and I honor myself, you know, for my natural beauty, you know, for not just physically, but who I am underneath that, you know, bit of mascara doesn't make me any more of the amazing human that I am. And that is the truth. That is the truth for every single person on earth. And, yeah, that's really what I want to share today. I was so nervous coming on this live because I didn't know what was going to come out, because I knew I was just going to start spitting some truth bombs, and it was going to come straight from the heart. And there's like that fear of judgment of, you know, really showing who I truly am. But, you know, like I said at the start of the video, I think it's really important that more and more of us are stepping into really, you know, loving all of us and reflecting that truth to everyone else, so that we all have the courage to show up in that same level of self-love and, yeah, authenticity. Anyway, guys, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.